Excelsior, everyone. It is I, Shane, and I'm here to give you another The Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode review and recap. Today's episode is episode 4 The Whole World is Watching. Yeah, the title. Never didn't understand the title until towards the end of this episode. And it's a good one. Just like episode 2, it's a good one. I enjoy this whole series. I know one of the biggest complaints is that there's not a lot of Easter eggs in it, like, the WandaVision, and probably when Loki shows up, it's probably gonna have a ton of Easter eggs. I'm gonna be completely and straight honest with you. Easter eggs are cool. Easter eggs are fun, but Easter eggs makes theories, and then people start getting upset when their theories don't happen. And that's actually what happened with WandaVision. I'm very happy with how this show has turned out because it's very much like the comics, very accurate. I would expect comic book purists to love it, but apparently people just want Easter egg after Easter egg. What's an Easter egg going to do for you if you're not going to be able to enjoy it? That's just me, though. Anyhow, before I do this, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Seriously, those of you who watch these videos and you're not subscribed, give me a like at least. Give me a comment. That actually really helps the video out and helps my channel out. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, and once we get to that 100, that's the first step to the first 1,000. So let's go ahead and get right on into this. I always tell you, when they do recaps, the recaps matter. They did a recap of Karli still in the, what's it called, GRC? Yeah, GRC stock, and exploding that building, potentially killing people. We'll find out more about that in a minute. Apparently there was 20 vials, but only 7 were used. And we have, the gang meeting up with Sharon. Oh God, I forgot Sharon's last name. We'll get Sharon Carter. Zemo dancing, which apparently you can go to Marvel's YouTube. They have that on loop for an hour of Zemo dancing. So, memes. Memes. Metal Gear was right. Anyway, we are taken back to 6 years ago in Wakanda. The same Dora Milaje that was talking to Bucky last episode is talking him through. They're going to go through the switch words that's supposed to turn him into Winter Soldier, Killer Man. Bucky is nervous. He got the one arm, which is his right arm, so he got the one arm. He's nervous. She's saying she's not gonna let anyone hurt him, so she goes through the words. She says them in. I'm assuming this is Russian or German. If you know, please comment below. She goes through the words. He's getting flashes of everything. I'm talking the Winter Soldier, the Winter Soldier movie. I'm talking the things we saw in the Winter Soldier movie of what he went through. The things in Civil War when we saw what he went through. He's going everything, and as she takes steps forward while saying that Bucky's crying, he's in tears, and she tells him, "Hey, you're finally free. You are a free man." He's crying and he's happy. Now in present day, she's talking to him, and she's like, "Why did you free Zemo?" And I'm not sure if they're speaking Wakandan or not. I know they're going in and out between English and another language, but you know, he's saying he's a means to an end. It's the only reason why he's working with him. Uh, I can't remember her name. I think her name might be Ellie. I should have checked it in the credits, but I didn't. But he tells her Zemo's just a means to an end. She says he killed King T'Chaka. King T'Chaka personally chose all of the Dora Milaje, including herself, to protect the king. Zemo being around and out and about is actually a stain. It is a shame upon them. So, you know, she tells him, "We're giving you 8 hours. After that, you're coming back." He gives her back the Wakandan beads. As soon as Bucky gets back, File says, "Yeah, Wakanda's after you." And at the same time, Bucky takes his phone out. He's like, "Yeah, apparently Karli bombed her place. 3 people are dead, 11 are injured." And, Zemo's basically saying, "Hey, I have resources to go and find her. You don't. So, you gonna turn me in or what?" And Sam is saying she's a kid. She's 20. The actress is 22. I'm assuming the character is 22. She's just a kid, and Zemo basically says, "What you see in her isn't there." It's the problem with super soldiers is that if a person like her, who's a supremacist, it leads to factions like the Nazis, the Eltrians, and the Avengers. And of course, Sam has a funny moment. He's like, "Those are our friends," and Bucky's like, "The Avengers, not the Nazis." And you know, you can't separate the reason the person becomes a super soldier from the person themselves. And Zemo is a very compelling character. I'm going to be giving you opinions in between me giving you the review. Uh, Very compelling character. He makes really, really good arguments, and it's very, very hard to go against them. I mean, it makes excuse me, water break makes total sense. And Sam retorts and says, "Well, the serum never corrupted Steve." And he's like, "Touche," but there's never been another Steve Rogers, which is, I know I'm spoiling it. I'm probably not gonna remember these side conversations, but that's basically the whole theme of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And it's like what Sam said first episode. There isn't another Steve. The world needs a person like him to be that symbol. If this was a comic book, you can expect Cap to be back in like maybe a year and a half, 2 years. He's not coming back in these movies, but yeah, it's very interesting that a person who's altruistic like Steve Rogers shows up, and he's literally the only one. Karli says, and I'm sorry. So when trying to figure out how to get to Karli, they remember that her mother passed away, and Sam says, "Well, my TT passed," and Buck's like, "Your TT, my auntie." When his auntie passed, the whole neighborhood they got around, they had a wake for her, they talked about her. He knows that if Karli's mom is that type of person that they believe her to be, they're probably going to have one for her. And Zemo gives him a Turkish delight, throws him a Turkish delight, says your TT would be proud. You're a smart and a good man, which is Zemo is compelling, man. He's obviously he's like a gray area villain. It's hard to call him anti villain when he seems anti hero because you can understand his motivations. So meanwhile, the Flag Smashers are sitting around, and they hear that one of the guys killed was a father of two, and he had only been working at the GRC for a week. Karli's out drinking tea. Karli's looking out. The Flag Smashers are garnering more support, and I wrote F Karli in here. It's really hard. I find it very hard to feel. I know what you want me to feel, show. You want me to feel sorry for her and understand the motivations. And they even go deeper into what's going on behind this character and the other characters in two other parts. But it's really hard for me because she just seems like a 22-year-old shit. That's just what it is. I want to literally, Zemo calls her a supremacist. Supremacist? That's what she seems like. She seems like a supremacist. So, as they arrive, they're still in Latvia, but as they arrive, Sam's checking upstairs. Bucky's with Zemo. He's supposed to watch Zemo. Zemo's like, "I'll stay out of your way." And everyone's running from Sam. Like, Sam is just asking about the lady. Do you know her? Do you know her? They're closing doors. He even sees this Flag Smasher logo on a box that has supplies on it. And he finally gets to a guy. Excuse me. He finally gets to a guy, and I'm jumping out of order, but it's fine. He finally gets to a guy who says that he knows who he is, but they can't trust outsiders. Like, he knows exactly who Sam is, and Sam's saying that he would help, but the guy's like, 6 months ago they said they would help us. We're getting help somewhere else. Can't talk to you. Sorry. Meanwhile, Bucky's having about the same amount of luck that Sam is, and and Zemo being very creepy because he starts singing the Baba Black Sheep. I guess you call it nursery rhyme. And he has Turkish delights, and he says, that his son used to like them, and he offers candy to his little girl, and he asks her about the woman. Do you know where her wake is being held? The little girl knows. She whispers to him in his ear, and he's offering all this candy. And when Sam comes downstairs with Bucky, he says, "Those two men, they're bad men. If they ask you any questions, don't answer them." And Zemo's really good at what he's doing. So he comes with the group, and Sam, says he understands Karli. They were in this world where they had homes, they had jobs, and everything else. When people came back, they were quickly pushed away. countries that normally had a barbed wire fences and keeping people out, they were letting people in. And now that people have come back, the world's kind of shifted, and those who were, excuse me, those who were around during that time are having a hard time accepting that people are trying to make things go back to the way they were. And he's saying that she's different from Zemo. Definitely different from Zemo. She's different from anybody else that they fought before. And Bucky says, "Hey, so what the little girl tell you?" And Zemo just flat out, just like, "Yeah, she told me where the wake is. I know where it is. Why don't you tell us so Dora Milaje can capture me and you can just ditch me?" Nah, I know my leverage. So you get Bucky playing bad cop. He takes the teacup and throws it against the wall, and Sam's like, "Calm down. I'll take care of it." And he says all he's gonna do is just get in your head and do the little head tilt thing he does. You see Zemo tilt, right his head back up. Very nice, subtle, funny moment. Sam gets on the phone with Sharon, and he calls her for help. She says Power Broker's gone ape shit because Nago is closed, the Golden Goose is dead, and Sam is asking, "Hey, would you be able to at least track Karli and find out where she is for me? I understand I owe you, but I need eyes on her." And crazy part is, while he's talking to Sharon, she's walking through, a barricade, and there's armed men. They turn to the side and they kind of guard her again. Leads me to believe she is either working with Power Broker or she actually might be Power Broker and might not actually be a real person. At least until they decide to make it a real person, right? So, meanwhile, I gave them a different name besides Flag Smasher, but they're at a grave where they have hidden the rest of the vials. Remember, 7 took them. There were 20 of them. That means they have 13 left. And she takes the pack. Karli takes the pack with her. They plan on giving another person the serum. And she asked this guy, it's always a person, this guy apparently is important for later, asks him if she's making a mistake. And he says, "My grandpa Lucas is my first name. His grandpa Lucas said that if you're nervous about doing the thing, you're doing the right thing. He fought against Nazis." And this whole time, I'm screaming that you can't say that she's doing the right thing because she literally killed a guy who had just started working there. You can't say that everyone is a pawn and be ready to kill somebody and think that you're on the right path, because that certainly wasn't what your granddad was doing. Your granddad didn't blame all these other soldiers. They're just pawns for us to go and kill the Nazis. That's not how it worked at all. They didn't involve civilians. A lot of times, in rules of engagement, yes, there are rules of war and rules of engagement. You typically don't fire or kill an enemy who hasn't fired or tried to kill you. So, in certain situations, of course. The scene was just dumb for me. I couldn't even believe it. And they're talking about the legacy of Captain America because he's saying, Steve Rogers was a good guy, but we need people like you. The people need a person that looks like them. And I get that. I completely get that. She's biracial. Actress is biracial, but I'm assuming that the character is also biracial, British, half black, half white. They need a person that looks like them. That's been in the drudges, that was displaced and not displaced. She's talking about the legacy of that shield needs to die, and the shield needs to be broken before she takes the pack and goes off. Which I guess this was supposed to endear you. It did not endear me. It just more or less made me roll my eyes and say, you are not any better than the group that his grandfather was fighting against at this point. Robin Hood never killed anybody. Just saying. So John Walker comes up to the other guys as they leave Zemo's little bungalow house, and he's a complete jackass. You know, Sam wants to reason with Karli. He's done this before with displaced soldiers, with soldiers who were just gotten out of war. He's been a therapist. He's done all that, and that's actually what he was doing in not Civil War, but in the Winter Soldier when Steve actually met him. And Walker wants to go on hot, but Hopkins says, "Let Sam talk to her." Zemo Zemo's like, "All right, I'm coming up to my informant now." Talks to the little girl, says, "Can you lead us?" He gives her I don't know the type of money they have in Latvia. I just saw it was 500, so he gave her some money. She led the way. Walker cuffs Zemo to. It looks like a, it looks like a boiler room type of situation. He locks him to this thing. Tells Sam he's only giving him 10 minutes, and Sam goes through the door that the little girl showed him. And Karli's holding this other little boy. Could be could be a relative of the actress in real life. Looks like another black kid. And they're talking about Mama. I think it's Mama D or something. I don't remember. I don't remember her mother's name. I don't really care. So speaking in remembrance of her, she obviously sees Sam up there. She hands the boy. She's shooken, like she shook, and hands the boy. But this is what's killing me. And it's hard for me to feel bad for her because while she's saying, "Yeah, the woman took care of all," and she's essentially a foster mother. Wow, a foster mother to most of them, taking care of everyone, which is what I get. I get that she's an orphan. I get what was going on now. I get it. I got it. Good. But I still don't feel bad for her because she pushed her agenda within this wake. I can't even do a wake. She pushed her agenda within the wake, saying, the world was separate, we are together, and we're, it's us against them, and we're trying to do the right thing. And just, I'm listening to this, I'm like, who the hell are you to do this during a wake? That's like, that's like going to someone's literal wake and literally just pushing a political agenda. It's you just take this out of this fiction world, put it in the real world. Just think about it that way. I couldn't even believe it. I was just like, I am not endeared by you. I'm still not endeared by you. So Sam talks to her, and he's saying, I'm sorry for your loss. She calls him condescending. You jackass. I'm trying not to say the B word, but you're a jackass, kid. He's like, no, I have lost someone. Sam really has lost people before, not just family members, but friends and people he was really close to. You jackass. And he's saying he's not condescending. He knows loss, and she's like, but not like this. I hate this character. And I'm going to hate this character more towards the end. Just you wait. So, he says he can't speak to millions of people, but he can speak to her. What she's doing, killing people, you're not making a better place. You're just making the place different. Meanwhile, Walker's going ape shit. Like, he's pacing back and forth. He's like, all right, that's it. We're going in. And Bucky's like, it hasn't been 10 minutes yet. Chill out. Zemo's just patiently just sitting there like, I'm cuffed, whatever. And, he holds him back. Obviously, because Bucky's a super soldier and he has a vibranium arm. So he tells him, just wait. And he's trying to appeal to him, saying, hey, your partner is in there alone. Earlier, Bucky already said we're not partners. Not partners yet. Obviously, that'll change. It better change, that's all I'm going to say. So Sam goes back and talks to me, and he says, he says a friend of mine, but Zemo's not a friend, but he says a friend of mine says that, you're a supremacist. And she said, that's not true. I'm fighting supremacists. That makes any sense. And he says, well, what about the people that you're killing? She says, they're just pawn. I'll kill them. They're just robots. I have to get to the goal. And he's like, that really sounds like a supremacist to me. And she's like, no, you tricked me into saying that. Sam is basically telling her, if you're willing to kill people, you're not any better than the people you're trying to stop. You're not any better than the systems that you're trying to break down. And of course, John Walker screws everything up. He jumps in. Karli's mad, saying, oh, you worked with him. You said you were by yourself. He gives chase. Bucky gives chase. Zemo escaped. All hell is breaking loose. And, they're pushing people out of the way while they're trying to chase her and find her because the place is like a maze. Zemo finds her. And he's putting bullets in her. And one of the funniest things about super soldiers is, regardless of them being super strong and super fast, they cannot withstand bullets. They are not Luke Cage. And that's actually something I want to put right here. This actually makes Luke Cage seem much more special, and I like that. So, as she shoots him, she drops the vials. Now, I only counted 6 vials on the floor. So, if we're going to do math here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vials on the floor. So, we're going to do math real quick. 6 plus 7 is 13, guys. 13 vials. That means that there's another 7 missing. So Zemo says, "Is this what I think it is?" So he's just stepping on him. He's breaking him. Karli sees the Asian guy. I think he's Japanese, but the Asian guy who's on her team. She runs to him. She's nursing that wound, and Walker comes up on Zemo and smashes him in the head with the shield. Bucky, Sam, Hopkins, they all coming from different angles. Like, what did we miss? But before they came in, Walker sees a lone vial to the side. Zemo had smashed only 5. He picks it up, pockets it. Karli, meanwhile, Karli's nursing the woman, says she just wants to keep going. And before all this, I believe Sam had mentioned Sarah to her. He talked about his sister saying, I have people in my life I care for, blah, 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 blah. But Karli says she wants to keep going. And the Asian guy picks up the phone and says, oh, it's a power broker. He says he wants his serum or he's going to kill us. So not only do they have to deal with people chasing them, that they're saying you can't fight 2 wars. She's going to figure out if she needs to kill Sam or not. She really doesn't want to, and she needs to figure out how to kill Cap. They want to kill Captain America, period. Once they get rid of Captain America, there's no symbol, blah, 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 blah. No one likes John Walker anyway. So, Sam is back at Zemo's bungalow typing away to Sharon, saying, let him know if Walker makes a move on Karli, they need to be the first one. Zemo asks Sam if he was offered the serum, would he take it? And Sam instantly says no. And he says, oh, that's really interesting. Zemo has a drink in his hand. He has a towel because he did just get hit in the head with a vibranium shield. And he's saying you can't hold out, for Karli. She's super soldiers shouldn't be allowed to exist, period. And Sam says, that's actually the talk of a god. What are you going to do to Bucky? Because Bucky's a super soldier too. Blood isn't always a solution. And I'm loving how they're painting Sam. Sam is not Steve. Sam is his own man. He is a black man, has been through things that America does to black men. And while he can definitely sympathize and empathize with his enemies, he still knows the right path. He is not going to go all Rambo, which I believe I mentioned in episodes 1 and 2 about the type of Captain America Sam will be as he's shining through. So, Bucky says that Bucky walks in and is like, Walker's crazy. He's like, tell me what else is new. He's like, no, he can tell looking in his eyes that something's wrong with him. And as if being rung by Bill, Walker busts in, says he wants Zemo. And Sam says the only thing you're running is your mouth. Walker's threatening to fight Sam, and Sam's just looking at him. Meanwhile, a spear comes through. It's the Dora Milaje. About I can't even count how many were there. I'm gonna say maybe 4 to 6 Dora Milaje. They speak to the White Wolf. They say, White Wolf, we know he's your ends to a means, but he is ours. Your time is up. And Walker tries to say Dora Milaje doesn't have jurisdiction here, and she's like, Dora Milaje's jurisdiction is wherever they may be. You know what's gonna happen. A fight is brewing, and John Walker, for some reason, thinks he can put his arm on the soldier of a warrior woman from Wakanda. He quickly gets taken down, and a fight ensues. Zemo all the time the whole time Zemo's just kind of drinking, just in the background. Everyone's fighting. Sam, Sam's telling Bucky, hey, Bucky, can you help him, please? And Bucky's like, yeah, you got this under control, Walker. Of course, Bucky saves Walker from being stabbed. Sam saves Hopkins from being stabbed. Everyone's getting their butt kicked. And one of the funniest things before this fight is Sam literally said to Walker, you might want to try to fight Bucky before you try to fight any of them. Because they're kicking everybody's butt. Super soldier, regular soldier, Falcon, doesn't matter. Zemo quietly closes the bathroom doors. The woman who spoke with Bucky earlier, and the same woman who also helped to see if he had gotten over the whole Winter Soldier thing, she literally disarmed him. I mean, she does a finger thing, and his vibranium arm just plops on the ground. He's looking like, really? Did you really just literally disarm me? Walker's losing it because he gets the shield tied down with the spear. The other Dora Milaje just does a little shield kick flip on her. She has the shield. They go into the bathroom. We see that Zemo's gone. There's a little grate. He moved the grate and went through the sewers, obviously. And Walker's still losing it because he looks at Hopkins and goes, they weren't even super soldiers. They give him back. Obviously, they give him back the shield. Dora Milaje on the hunt. Meanwhile, we get this conversation between Walker and Hopkins, where Walker signs an autograph. Hopkins says, "When is that going to get annoying?" But at the same time, he tells him everything's not bad, and they have a conversation about whether someone would take the serum. If you had the opportunity to take it, would you take it, Lamar? Lamar says, "Hell yeah, I take it." The serum is supposed to bring the best out of you, correct? Well, you have Karli Morgenthau, you have Steve Rogers. Obviously, one's bad, one is good. And Walker's trying to figure out, well, which one is he. And he says, you got 3 Medal of Honors, X, Y, Z. He says, yeah, those medals remind him of the worst day of his life. While they were in Afghanistan, he didn't feel like what they were doing was right. But when he became capped, he felt like for the first time he's actually doing something that's good. Which I get this character. John Walker, U.S. agent, as he's known in the comics, is an asshole. He's a jackass for sure. But I get it. It's a guy who's obviously have a lot of PTSD and a lot of trauma from the past. And he's a guy who's trying to get grips with having no power by trying to grasp at power, which makes me understand him a lot more than Karli Morgenthau. Yeah, I get the whole country out borders bullcrap, but I understand John Walker, but I still hate them both. They're still assholes. Pardon my French. Or is it my Spanish? Who cares? Hate them. Which is a good job. I'm really sad to hear that people are sending actual death threats to the guy playing John Walker. It's a show, guys. This isn't real. I digress. He doesn't tell Hopkins that he pocketed one of the serums. He just, they're both going on like, man, that could have really helped us earlier on. We could have saved so many people. Like, yeah, it really could have. Not telling you. So Karli calls Sarah Wilson. She calls Sam's sister. And they have a conversation. She says, yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I can trust your brother, see if if he's working with the guy behind that shield. She literally says that's your Captain America, and she's like, I didn't choose him, I didn't vote for him. He stands for a symbol for a country that doesn't even like me, so whatever. And Karli says she likes Sarah, sees a lot of herself within her, blah blah blah. I love, first of all, Sarah Wilson's great. She is a great example of the common feeling amongst black people, amongst African Americans, dealing with the United States. And yeah, I do see a lot of myself within Sam Wilson. He's very empathetic, sympathetic, and optimistic. Which even earlier Karli was saying, either you're a genius or you're a fool who's too optimistic. And I love Sam's optimism. But I digress. She literally says, I need to talk to him alone without the guy. I need to figure out if I can trust him. I need to figure out if I need to kill him or not. And if you don't tell him where you are, I'll just come and talk to you. And she names both of her sons. She literally threatens the kids because in the United States, it's nighttime. Over in Latvia, it is still daylight. Pardon me. And this is just ridiculous. So obviously, Sarah calls Sam, gives him the encrypted number and where they're gonna meet. He tells her, pack a night bag, grab the boys, pay only in cash. Do not use your credit card. I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. Sam is pissed. So Sam and Bucky, they go get suited up. Of course, Bucky's outfit right now is just a jacket, but they get suited up. Sam gets suited up, and they meet with Karli. And he's like, "You called and threatened my sister," and she said, "I never plan on actually doing anything to her, but I want you to team up with me since you don't like Walker anyway. You're not with him. Team up with me. You said you understand me. Let's get this stuff popping." Meanwhile, Sharon calls Sam, says Walker's on the move. Either he found them or they found Walker, maybe. And Sam's like, "Oh shit." So Bucky's gonna make a move. He jumps down. Karli tackles him. Sam gets in between that and says, "You go. I'll send you the coordinates." So they're making a move to try to save Walker from getting murdered because it's very obvious they have planned this. So we get a very, very intense chase scene. Walker and Lamar Hopkins, they both get in there. They're kind of separating themselves and they're just looking around. Lamar gets captured. And we have several knife fights and knife ambush skirmishes with Walker and the Flag Smashers, and he's trying to find Lamar. Bucky. I couldn't tell if Bucky was chasing Karli or Charlie was chasing him, but Bucky's hauling ass. Sam is flying, and Sam flies through the window, and he flies right when John Walker, U.S. agent, the new Captain America, he's getting beat with the pipe. He grabs the pipe and bends this thing. This thing is like this thick, bends it. The guy fighting him says, "Oh shit!" He gets kicked. Not only did he get kicked to a wall and get kicked out, he said, "What did you do?" Don't worry about it. They got Lamar, so they're gonna go find Lamar. Lamar, he wakes up after he was knocked out. He gets a knife. He's untying himself. Bucky is fighting. He's fighting a flag smasher. Ends up kicking this dude so hard he goes through brick wall, and he gives the one liner, says, "You stay there." I'm not even caring about some of the quips because the fight scenes were intense, really really good fight scenes. So Walker and Sam come through. They got to fight two flag smashers, one with a knife, and Walker's like, "What's the deal with the knives?" That was actually funny. Really good action. Sam is great at using his wings and his flight pack and his flight suit. Walker is better at using the shield. So Bucky is now there. Bucky has a knife fight with one of the ones with a knife. Bucky is obviously better. So while this cross battle is going on, uh, the guy who spoke to Karli earlier, the guy with the Grandpa Lucas, he comes by and grabs this guy. Karli runs and gets ready to stab him. Lamar tackles her to stop her from killing John. She straight punches him in the heart. He is launched into a pillar. He's he's instantly dead. He is done. He's done. Blood pouring, head down. Walker goes over and is like, Lamar, wake up. The room freezes. Everybody has this oh shit look. Flag Smashers, they're hauling ass. Karli looks back. Karli's the one that killed him, mind you. Punch this man clean in the heart with your super soldier 22-year-old fist and hauls ass. They all are running. Sam and Bucky are trying to run to catch them. Walker keys in on the one that had grabbed him before, and he chases him. And when I mean chases, he barreled through a window. Very Cap-esque. That was a throwback. There's one of your Easter eggs for you. Throwback to Cap running through windows. Lands on a car, hits this guy in the back with the shield. Where is she? Batman style. He's like, I don't know. I don't know where she is. The serum has boosted that evil aggression that is within John Walker, that PTSD, that asshole gene he has. This man picks up the shield and starts slamming it into him. They're in the town square. There's the place they're on is basically a circular fountain. People have their phones out. This is the modern era. They're taking pictures and recording video. Karli's dumbass is on the side and sees her friend gets murdered by the new Captain America, as Bucky and Sam are also there to watch him pick up a now bloodied shield. And that is where the episode ends. It ends with Walker killing a guy and for the whole world to watch. Yeah. This is a really good episode. If I was to rate this out of 5, I give episode 2 a 5. I'll give episode 3 4. I got to give this one also a 5. Amazing episode. First of all, the spurts of action they've given us have been good throughout the series. I greatly enjoy it. I especially enjoy what I don't have to write down what happens. If your fight scene is so good that I'm remembering these things without having to write it down, that's a kiss for me. This is a 5 out of 5 all the way. And I was saying, I believe last episode, that I believe that Walker's attitude had been elevated very quickly. And I did say before, episode 4 would be the climax. This is only 6 episodes, but wow. Yeah, he was feeling the pressure of being Cap, and the passage of time, they don't do a really good job of explaining it in this one, because it's obvious that it's been at least 2, well, it's been 8 hours in this one because the Dora Milaje, they came around, but they obviously had to go from a day to night cycle, especially for that 8 hours when it was the daytime in the beginning. So obviously they went through a day to night cycle. At the same time, I kind of find it hard to believe that some of this stuff happened in a quick succession, but maybe it did. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I expect Mrs. Walker to give him a call and the U.S. government to say, hey, you shouldn't have killed a guy on TV. He doesn't care. He's going to kill the little asshole. I'm trying not to say that word, guys. I'm trying not to say the B word. They're going to kill that little asshole that killed his best friend right in front of him. I I can see how people don't like the villains. Technically, the real villains are Power Broker and John Walker. Zemo's gone. Zemo's very compelling. I hope he shows back up in episode 6 to kill Karli. Sorry guys, I can't. I want Karli to die. That's just my theory. Let me see. I wrote down some other things over here. We don't know when he took the serum, but either he took it right after they snatched Lamar, or he took it right after him and Lamar were tipped off. I'm assuming he took it right after they were tipped off. That was 8 hours. It had to have been a day. They went through a whole 8 hours. It's probably the next day. So this is 2 or 3 days. He probably took it in between that time period and just waiting for it to kick in. I don't know if he drank it or if he shot it up. I know Cap had to get it into his veins, so who knows? How is this going to resolve? John Walker loses an arm in the comics, and he loses his wife. Lost his best friend. He's probably going to lose his wife because he's a killer. He's probably going to say the wrong thing to her in the next episode. I expect him to get that arm cut off by the Shield. Probably by Bucky. Maybe by Zemo. But he's going to lose that arm in episode 6. If Karli stays on the run, I don't care. If Karli gets killed, I'll probably be happier. I don't like the character. The character is too problematic, and I don't want to say she's cookie cutter. I understand the motives, but you're still a supremacist. You're still, a bad guy. You're still a terrorist. Even Sarah says she's a terrorist. She's like, if you ask, depending on who you ask, yeah, you're a terrorist chick. You're killing folks. You're killing a guy with 2 kids who just started, and you're just saying he's a puppet robot. Yeah, I did write that. Karli has to die, right? Is there anything redeemable? Like, I actually liked Lamar. Lamar had the most sense and the most mind and the most brain in this episode. You know what I'm saying? Give him a chance. Let him do what he has to do. While also having his friend back and being honest and being real with him. Kind of sucks that Lamar's dead. Kind of hope he gets brought back to life. Good to see you, Dora Milaje. 5 out of 5. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comment section down below. Please remember to give me a like. Hit the notification bell if you are subscribed so you can get notified of more videos like this. I do this every Friday for you guys. And even when Falcon Winter Soldier is over, I'm still going to give you good videos on Fridays. We took a quick break on Thursdays because I got to get some more material for you guys. I got to keep watching stuff. So, as always, I thank you for your time. Remember to share, show other people the great time we're having here with these videos. As always, please be good, be blessed. Wash your hands, wear a mask. Black Lives Matter. Rest in peace, DMX. Be good to yourself, be good to others. And as always, I will definitely see you next time.